Oh, wait. You're serious about this. Let me laugh harder. Alright, all joking aside, alright, it's time yet again for a look at the next chunk of episode Thundercats Roar have access to and see how further this can continue its downward slide into lacking cohesion and of any kind of story, artwork, character, or basically anything else. So I would have done this sooner, but personally, if I had to delay anything further, it wouldn't have been good given how I've got other things I'm wanting to take care of. So I'm going to be going over the next chunk of episodes, and as time implies, special bonus. So let's get this going. So, pick up where I left off. Figuratively speaking, episode 7. Panthro plagiarized, where apparently Panthro has a gravity utensil, which one of the villains, the Vulture Man, tried to make into a gravity weapon, and he also had to basically take that back and make that into his own. Even as someone who's taken up watching a lot of clips with Half-Life 1 sound effects as of late, I must say that IP infringement is not really a compelling story for a cartoon, so I'm not going to be going too in-depth for these next few episodes, as I'm going to be looking at here, but I will be stating just brief summaries of each of them, and how so far they haven't really determined exactly what they want to do with this premise at all, unfortunately. Episode 8, a warrior maiden invasion of Dumb, which I know some people who are trying to clickbait others like they were trying to give you something to enhance the size of your package or what some former child star is doing now, but seeing what they might be trying to teach someone, but my reply to that would again be, what exactly would that be? There's almost no educational or message is here to speak of. I mean, since that would imply there was any kind of cohesion in the story, and apparently Wily Cat and Wily Kit, who were younger members of the team previous versions being like the kittens and everyone and all, but getting involved with the warrior maidens because they're smashing and then fixing stuff. Yeah. There's gonna be a running theme in these episodes, regrettably, how unfortunately a lot of people have seemed to, I think they managed to screw up the story so badly I genuinely can't tell what's happening and what they're trying to convey, which isn't a good sign. In cases where the pacing isn't glacial, I'm always the one. It's moving so fast. As I could have sworn it's just Whiplash just sitting here in front of my screen, and I've seen Mighty Magiswords. I mean, but to that show's credit, at least it had the excuse of being a web series first was transplanted to TV, which tends to yield mixed results depending on how the execution's handled, man. And so there's that. Okay. Episode 9, Lost Sword. So, as the title implies, it involves an albino accidentally losing a sword, which also, with the Eye of the Deer, is also the power source for their base, and if something happens to the eye, if it's not dodged within a certain time frame, they both explode. So basically, it has less standby time than my phone does as right now. And also, for some reason, he's using it as a utensil at breakfast time. I'm I'm as if to say breakfast is ruined when it goes missing. Huh. So, be that as it may, hey, I really don't know if any of these stories that about Vic and his brother are even true or not. Until I have something to officially confirm or deny that, I'm just going to treat them as I've defined before as apocryphal, which has been defined by Oxford, among others, as stories are often seen as true, but of a dubious authenticity or belong to the Apocrypha. Okay, next episode 10, Horror of Hook Mountain, and as he and Tigra get mixed up with an old hermit in the mountains, and also had to stay away from some beast, which it has to be one of the most nonsensical and incoherent stories I've seen take place in the mountainside I've ever seen. And bear in mind, I've seen Cry Wilderness. It was really good episode of Mr. Fantasy 3000 Ladder's case, though. And another case of lack of character cohesion. And next episode, number 11, will be Thunder Slobs. I mean, it comes up again in a much later episode, but for some reason, Tigra is a germaphobe now in this continuity. Granted, this episode must have probably been written, animated, and produced before this pandemic had occurred, but even so, if I remove that from the equation, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not inherently against the idea of changing characters for a different adaptation, like how, like, again, with Detective Pikachu, who they made Tim basically a cipher in the game, but in the movie, they made him a former Pokemon trainer, which also impacts the plot directly. Though the same basic idea is still the same, where he's a young man who's come to search for his father Harry, who went missing, presumed dead prior to the story's events, 2 months, at least. So, and again, you don't have to. It's okay if you change from the adaptation, but it's good if the change makes sense, at least logically. And the next one, however, is even more egregious than this. Oh boy, I am not looking forward to this. Episode 12, Working Girl. As in, how not to do a guitar-centered episode. This basically is one 11-minute long way of how they completely derailed her character. Sure, she was fast and enhanced in previous incarnations, but she was level-headed enough that she wouldn't take someone like Monkey and or her, I'm trying to remember what he was called in the 2011 version like that. She would use it as an opportunity to better herself, even if, as the episode points out, as I postulated, he may as well basically have been on hormones and a local beauty tranquilizer. Yes, folks, this reimagining is so ridiculous, I can make dodgeball jokes about it, And apparently, and also in this one, because she goes out Edie's businesswoman, that had this running gag for shoulder blades changing size on her pantsuit, which, and once again, I had to be checking my Mountain Dew to make sure no one had spiked it, That's good. They had not. The show is just It's weird, and not in a good way. In other terms of story or art design, I mean, Rise of the TMNT is another show that has some weird storytelling artwork to it, but here's the thing. On that show, the stories and art are often intentionally weird here because the people in charge wanted to do something interesting with the Turtles mythos. I mean, but at least in that sense, and off like I still, even though there was initial suddenly some misgivings towards that, the artwork in that one is actually good. The story is actually interesting, and the not every single character is completely irredeemable. In fact, at watching some of that, they had a story about this trying to return a movie to the red box analog, and it's not the first time the franchise has done this, but there's a chase where the supervillain also is like a shot-for-shot remake of I see from Akira. Specifically, it's the one where near the beginning where the capsules are fighting the clowns, and like you would think that our villain with a bear as wrestling motif would know about the concept of Hunter Briar Patch. I mean, don't put the DVD in the red box. Don't return it for us, man. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not the. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the premise was on itself, though I mean it doesn't help, but the execution is off, and I'll definitely be addressing this further as I go along. And furthering the dodgeball comparisons, I actually do find out that Monkey M was apparently doping, or at least showed the equivalent of it, and it just seemed like something that, like, more like something that Ben Still's character do in that film than an actual supervillain. I mean, apparently he must have taken tips from Globo Gym or whatever. Yeah. Now we get into the realm of what I like to call comedic reversions of the original content from the actual previous incarnations. Episode 13, Mandor the Evil Chaser, in which Lion-O, who in this version is not merely someone who's going in the body of an adult, but so retains a childlike spirit of adventure and wonder, or even this less experienced person who wants to try and forge a new path as king, but a bit of a dunderhead who unwillingly lets out a bounty hunter's catches and has to form a alliance to get them back. However, it did produce at least the only gags I actually laughed at what I've seen so far. Alright, where in addition to her motorbike, Lion-O uses Snarfish one, which farts as it goes down the stairs of their lair. That's how starved heard we are for comedy in this series. That actually amuses me. Chasing evil on a fart bike. That's good. Episode 14, Dr. Dome Tome, who, even though he didn't appear that often in previous incarnations, and given how much of a quack they will turn him, and how the episode is basically just like a less amusing version of Adventure Time's take on this premise, I think I have a Dr. Cox I am ready for this. I mean, are you a doctor like a real doctor, or how Dr. Pepper's a doctor? Yeah. And now we also have one with story time, and that's a bit of a laugh here. I mean, where we see more of Jog's spectral essence and what I was worried about with his Spectre, I have been prepared for that when it comes up, and this is only one of a handful of episodes where Tigra is established to be somewhat red, even if they are, to be fair, not exactly PhD material, any of them. Um, and another good example of how the anti-humans in the show, I'm part of the reason why it took me so long to do this, apart from how crap this one is. Apparently, I had to ask around on IMDb and doing my research of these ones was in the case where apparently there was a title card in the outro which read R.I.P. Jillian, and I had to ask around for that whether or not it was actually dedication to a crew member, kind of like that the new Rick and Morty season where they had paid tribute to Michael Mandel, who passed away before the episode started airing. It was not. Apparently, it was some brick joke that I actually slipped by my radar, or because I mixed up with Jog's name. But how is that? To mean where normally whenever I see a bad show, it has its own look and feel things, but this is another rare case where in some many ways I legitimately can't figure out what they're trying to accomplish. R.I.P. Jillian, more like WTF Jillian. Alright, so episode 16, Mum While They Were Living, which begins with several artifacts he wants to try and restore his powers being destroyed in quick succession, and in one case, just a tape player, which was what we had to listen to before we started listening to music digitally. Hey, fellas. And it gets wrecked by them, and look, I know he's technically a villain, but typically, he wasn't even actually threatening anyone that time, so... Oh, is it anyone, hun, I can actually care about root for in this one at all? I mean, since I mean, it's not even getting into how, while sure there were some silly things in the previous incarnations, but there was still at least he's tried to play up his one here like that. I mean, but this, for the most part, don't even try to even pretend and disguise the threats that much. I mean, granted, each version of other IPs have actually managed to do that, like how they did it. There was a Shredder or Megatron, how they approach that, but they do at least have them pose some degree of menace in different ways. I mean, like some are out for power, some more complex than motives, but typically I don't get the vibe if I wonder if someone and what really seems to be the problem here is like how this ancient spirits in this one are basically treated like Christmas decorations that you had to plug in. And I mean, how sad is that? I mean, and you basically treat the ancient spirits of evil, which are like his consorts with all the gravitas of a lamp that's in my bedroom. I mean, alright. Episode 17, Berserkers, which is another one that does not do the material held justice at all. I mean, we have basically these are major characters in previous versions where we have both the robot pirates being introduced, and again, and Tigra still hell is a bit of a for some reason, has a compulsive. Again, there's only 2 episodes out of the 20 I've seen so far where this happens. Why even bother including that trait? I mean, but anyway, Captain Hammerhand, there's Cruncher, Top Spinner, Ram Bam, and also a Black Widow shark as well. I mean, I also know that another bit with the animation, like the water that opens the episode, which is basically the first shot of the title card, is almost on par with like the Tavern Scene Mass Effect 2, which is still pretty gorgeous looking game overall a decade later, but for some reason there was no liquid in the bottle when when the bartender gave it to you that then disappeared in your glass, like as it had the viscosity of a jello shooter, and the actor somehow drank without opening their mouth. I mean, the fluid physics in this are that bad, man. I mean it. Yeah. And there's also another bit where during one of the skirmishes they somehow Slash has Top Spinner's wheel, but somehow respawns in the next scene. I mean, consistency? What's that? Yeah. So, few more before I get to start wrapping this up. As far as my bonus, let's look. So, Jogga history, as in how not to reimagine the backstory of a series. I mean, it opened on. I mean, you thought that displaying the Destruction Fund there for last was bad before, or I mean, not only does it turns out that Jogga has become a ghost host who's hiding in some old pasta in their refrigerator, disregarding any potential ghost doctors. That bit was funny when they did hit it in Cowboy Bebop, to be honest. While Plundar's sword was a key factor in their homeworld being destroyed, apparently this time Jogga wasn't responsible for this time. Would you believe that's the catalyst again that convinced me to do this video after seeing it and yet trying to put this together? I was on the fence about doing another one for a while, and once again, and like someone throwing cans, a cat singing too loud, that would sort of push me off of it. That's mean. And so, and 19, Barbastella, which has no relation to the 60s cult sci-fi from Barbarella. I really don't know why Panthro for some reason is afraid of Batson's version, because given how he was present in previous continuities, it doesn't seem like that's something that makes sense. Just doing a quick gag. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Hergamine. And also, she ran off a previous love interest, such as with, which included the Mad Bubbler, which one of the episodes I watched. It's just a detox from this, so I had to put that back on again. Episode 20, the last one that was currently available online. I mean, so far I watched zero of this episode live. I mean, I've only seen bits and pieces on the app before the other episodes got dumped online. I mean, Adopted Jackal. I mean, what makes sense to me if Jackal actually lost his memory, but he didn't. He actually just got mixed up with them for some reason, and his inner monologue. I mean, the editing is just really bad in this one, and there's no payoff for the series of Plunder, at least not here. My recommendation would just be to help control the population, have your Jackal Man spayed or neutered if you can, a la Bob Burger, now Drew Carey. Now we get the crossover Teen Titans Roar, which And this is definitely another kind of a disappointment, given how even the I was actually expecting it to be a lot worse than it was, but here's the whole thing. What separates Go from War in my eyes that unlike that's just best personified by that bit at the end, which I'll get to in a moment, that while Go at least had to write out a lot of hate was getting to at least 6 seasons and 2 feature-length movies, because for some reason, not only to the creators, there's the people in charge of this reboot are cocksure they've got a hot property on their hands and just trying to dismiss as the critics except for it as being overly a quote unquote nostalgic, but I don't think that rationale really works. I mean, I don't think the problems with that with those in general. It's that with this particular one, that's really been a problem, especially given how. Granted, I didn't find every single one as bad. Like, I didn't find Go or 2016 Powerpuff as bad, but again, I will say that Ben 10's 2017 reboot blew up in their face as to make them fully charged for different reasons, and 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 again, there have been no problems I've had if any with versions of TMNT, Transformers, and especially the new DuckTales in recent years. And this one actually had some verbatim tactics from the and so about the backlash. I mean, like the vitriol online, Hein, sending things to the creators and depicting one of the people trying to defend it as little barking dogs. I mean, seriously, what would that be? And though I don't think the main problem is in the beast models or anything like that. It's like good design. I think is important. I mean, like again, I mentioned Rise. Why it's good to have markers sometimes you can tell each other apart even when you forget which color mask they wear, I mean, or what weapon they use. I mean, why make each one a bespoke breed of turtle that are as close as brothers when not biological, I mean. And as for that bit in the denouement, again, I refer you to that Bender quote I opened this with. And as for that bit in the end with what appears to be Panthers remains, Haynes, again, this is the same show that makes a running gag out of Jason Todd's ashes in the Batcave, as well as another bit where that coin that sometimes see in the Batcave has Zod neck brace referencing his very dark fate in DCU, who, and, but still, I had to wonder, could there be something else in the cards? Again, I cannot really confirm or deny anything either way. Hey, unless I'm having the confirmation myself. I mean, yeah. But I still submit in the original one for warts and all that Snarf at least meant well, even if he didn't always come out on top. I mean, I think, if I'm being totally honest, he's no worse than anything. And again, another reason he's in the whole nostalgic defense doesn't work for me as a second generation fan, and my favorite incarnation being the last one with the idea of still novelty. My counter argument is this: your target audience does not give you carte blanche to not try. I mean, I mean, why, why would anyone just basically choose to watch worse Go when they can just watch Go or Craig of the Creek or Victor Valentino or even Gumball? I mean, I think I can't believe I actually say this, but they actually need to establish long-term plans. And want this to, I mean, and another part of the reason this took me a while is just I was trying to find ratings, figures, but on top of the usual ones, sources changing, and it actually took a while for the data to come out. But once it actually did, I gotta say, it's rendered the nobody watched the last show rationale. It was basically effectively undermined it by this one. Has yet to even crack 500,000 viewers overall, and it's barely in the ballpark of Titans Go as of the crossover episode. Yeah. So less people watched the spectacular dud with almost no viewers. Feedback is all bad. And we all sang, oh hell, never was there ever a failed endeavor this bad show of it go. Won't you stop it, please? Oh man, never have I ever had to get baked to finish a cartoon. Vic, stop it, please. Oh wow, never have I ever wanted to cut off my C and V. Hey, please, God, Vic, stop it, please. Yeah. So, it's not looking too good. I mean, this is not really going the way they're hoping at all. I mean, and so far hasn't really caused the next wave of cat fandom as they're hoping for. So, in fact, kind of like a certain other work involving cats I've looked at recently, there's for every one person that is actually seems to be enjoying it. Again, like Starfire, there are many others who have been actually criticizing it. So it's almost like Teen Titans Go to the litter box in some cases. I mean, and again, it's very difficult to care about all this, if I'm being totally honest. So it'll probably be another bit before I look at another chunk of this show. I mean, unless they can establish what they want to do, I'm not sure how much this is going to work, especially given what I've actually seen with the actual reading numbers, which are not good, to say the least. Yes, I mean, also pretty telling that I haven't really heard much since this started, but again, I really don't know for sure if things have been 86, but it would not surprise me is all I'm saying. Anyway, that's about all for now. I have other stuff on the way. Hey, especially given how there's much better out there than this. I mean, and especially if you look at other places, like if you want a good show about a cat who wants to know how to be a hero, my advice is don't watch this. Go watch Mao Mao Heroes of Pure Heart, which is on the same network and has a target audience. And it's actually funny and well animated. I mean, I've also heard good things about these superhero girls as well. Have not seen that much of it, but it looked pretty interesting. And so, okay, later.